Good morning and welcome to week number 2 of Invest for Impact. I'm Colleen Derrick with Swaggers Insurance Services. I'm a certified financial planner, and I am here to help you figure out what would be a rich harvest for you and how do we get you there so that you can reap in an amazing abundance and enjoy it and share it so that it has impact and value for more than just you. Last week, we sort of reviewed the 4-week process that we're doing in our mini course, which was to plow and prepare. And that was our focus, was to prepare the soil and be mindful about what conditions you're looking for, making sure that it's protected from harsh elements, making sure that it's going to be enjoying and benefiting from good rain and good sun, good environments, making sure that we're protecting from predators, ensuring that you've cleared out the weeds, the rocks. This week, we're going to be looking at sowing your seeds, making sure they're good seeds, making sure they're getting into the soil positioned well and covered. Next week will be water and weight. And the week after that, we're going to be discussing harvest and share. So just to recap, last week we took a look at who are you going to partner with? What kind of a harvest do you dream of? Because to go through all of that work and then end up with a reward that is lackluster or maybe doesn't have value for you, that is really discouraging. And so it's important that we're very clear on what the goal is. Where will your seeds grow best? Once you've figured out what sort of a harvest you're looking for, you know what you're going to be planting. Where are they going to be growing best? Making sure that you are having that nutrient-rich environment for growth. And how can you prepare a place for flourishing? If you have not made room for expansion, if you've not made room for your harvest to come in, well, that defeats the entire purpose right at the end line. We then went in and we assessed, what do you have to work with? Who do you have to work with? Where do you have to work with? What are your potential setbacks? And then we had your action items. So hopefully you're coming today now with your action items. You've cleaned out your field. You've been mindful about preparing the base for where you're going to be investing. And you've also taken a good look at your team and talked with them and started to bring them into this process. We looked at avoiding your 4 hazards of predators, the location, the environment, of course, and of course, distractions, weeds, thorns, avoiding those. We also touched base on what it would look like, whether you're investing time, energy, or money. These are all valuable resources. And we took a look at what a rich soil environment for optimal growing would look like for each of those. So that brings us to today. Sow your seeds. Scatter joy. Sow your seeds. Be intentional. Who do you want to partner with? So again, we're going back to that, who's your team? So as you're getting ready to actually take that money and invest it, who are you working with? As you're getting ready to pour into your energy into a project, who else is on the project? Who are you partnering with? As you start to look at investing your time into somebody, right? Who have you invited to your circle of team? What kind of harvest do you dream of? Again, so if you now know what kind of harvest you're dreaming of, let's take a look at what kind of seed do you need to plant to get that. If I plant arugula lettuce, I may end up with lettuce, but it's not going to be the butter lettuce that I really like. You know, I wouldn't mind one head of arugula, but I'd like the majority of my lettuce for my salads to be butter lettuce. That's my favorite. So just making sure you're getting the harvest. What kind of seeds do you really want to be sowing? Lettuce? Not specific enough. What kind, right? Where will your seed grow best? Again, we're going to be now making sure that we're taking that in the frame of, this is the seed I'm sowing. I'm ready to plant it. Okay, now where do I want to specifically position that? Right? We started out here last week, and now we're bringing it into here this week. We're narrowing it down. We're becoming more intentional, more specific, more focused. And how can you prepare for flourishing? So again, if I am planting lettuce, we're great. What do I need? I need a pot or a plot of soil about this big. If I am going to be planting tomatoes, guess what I need? Support structure. You saw my live about peonies, right? Guess what happens to tomato plants that don't have a support structure? Right? We saw that. So let's make sure that we have built a good support structure that not only can it support a little stem, but a big, strong stem with a lot of branches coming out of it. Because I don't want to just invest for some tomatoes. I want to invest for impact of lots of tomatoes, big, ripe, juicy ones. So I might not even just do a stake. I might do a stake and a cage because I am preparing for a rich harvest of abundance and flourishing, right? And now we take we started big last week. We're narrowing in this week on, okay, where are we at? Let's take stock. What seed do you have to plant? Don't invest garbage. What you put in is what will multiply. Give it your best. I'm going to refer to my live again. We saw what happened with those crummy seeds that were just been sitting on my counter that we decided to plant, as opposed to those good, rich heirloom seeds that we put in, right? Then we talked about who is ready to get it into the ground, who can help you make sure that it is positioned in the prime spot. And where is that prime spot? What do you have to work with? Take a look around. Don't just say, oh yeah, that'll do. No, pick the best spot, right? What are your blockers? We have internal sabotages and external sabotages. The internal ones are the ones we do ourselves, our thinking, our processes, our feelings, the approach and the attitude we bring to things. The external are circumstances. Dregs won't do. If you're using everything that comes in, there isn't anything left worth investing, right? Again, we're back to where do you have the best resources, right? And making sure that once you've assessed where you have your best resources, those are the ones you're investing. Those are the ones you're planting. Those are the seeds you're sowing. Those aren't the ones you're eating. Those are the ones you're committing to sacrifice, to pour into and build this abundant harvest, right? And then we've got the who is working to protect the quality of your investment. Make sure your team is working in their strengths. Don't let them be a liability. Make sure they're an asset. And then don't take the easy road. Take the best road. Where is the seed? Again, missing the mark. Hone in. Plant one or two. Give it one or two goes. Assess. Hone in. And then put the bulk of that really good quality seed where it's going to count. Right? People, again, when we're using all of our time and our energy and our money on that hamster wheel, that's just keeping you going around in circles. We want to get that hamster wheel off and get it momentum going forward, right? So be wise. Don't try to plant what you don't have, and don't plant what you only have crummy little leftovers of. Make it a priority to start with something of value. So, action items. What quality resources did you discover? Okay. What do you need to adjust to commit these resources and position them in the best way possible? And who do you need to build into your team, or who do you maybe need to shift what they're doing in the team so that they can be more efficient and more productive? When we take a look at Hosea 10-12, it says, I said, plant the good seeds of righteousness, and you will harvest a crop of love. Plow up the hard ground of your hearts, for now is the time to seek the Lord, that he may come and shower righteousness upon you. So be diligent in what you sow. Be diligent, right? What did that verse tell us, right? If we plant good seeds of righteousness, you will harvest a crop of love. Be diligent in where you sow. Plow up the hard ground of your hearts. For now is the time to seek the Lord, that he may come and shower righteousness upon you. If he showers righteousness on a hard heart, if we shower that on hard ground, it runs off. There is no value. You've just wasted those resources. If you have plowed up that ground like we discussed last week, and you've built in those nutrient-rich minerals, and you sow good seed in there, and then we rain on it and shower water on it, that soil absorbs that moisture and funnels it into the seed to help it build those good roots. What a different response. The same resources going in, but a dynamically different outcome. Jeremiah 4:3 says, "This is what the Lord says to the people of Judah and Jerusalem, plow up the hard ground of your hearts." Coincidence that that is spoken about more than twice in the Bible? No, it's pivotal. We are talking about investing time, energy, and money. When Jesus and God are talking, they're talking about eternity, souls being redeemed. That is a far greater harvest than our time, than our energy, than our money are going to produce, right? So let's get on board. If these values and these principles matter for the most precious thing in existence, which are our hearts and souls and lives, can they not have amazing value if we apply them to the more plebeian tasks and ventures of this earth, which is temporary? Good principles apply across the board. Let's apply them here. When we look at Luke 12:15-21, then he said, "Beware, guard against every kind of greed. Life is not measured by how much you own." And then he told them a story. A rich man had a fertile farm, produced fine crops. And he said to himself, "What should I do? I don't have room for all my crops." He had not prepared for abundance. He had not prepared for flourishing. And then he said, "I know, I'll tear down my barns and build bigger ones. Then I'll have room enough to store my wheat and other goods. And I'll sit back and say to myself, 'My friend, you have enough stored away for years to come. Now take it easy. Eat, drink, and be merry.' But God said to him, 'You fool, you will die this very night. Then who will get everything you worked for?' Yes, a person is a fool to store up earthly wealth, but not have a rich relationship with God." He did not pay attention to our page over here, where it says, point number 2, what kind of harvest do you dream of? Right? He just went for temporal stuff he didn't even need. It was just going to sit in these big barns. Didn't even have a use. Where's the value? Go back to those squares, those foundational steps. Make sure that what you are preparing to harvest has value, and make sure you are prepared to bring it in and to store that, right? When you are sowing your seeds, be mindful of that. You don't need to sow enough for the entire world. You need to sow enough for harvest that is rich for you and the uses that you have for it and the positioning that you are prepared to share it with, right? These are really important things to keep in mind. Plant good seed. Don't waste your good seed among thorns. Don't plant in hard ground, and make sure you're positioned for the right kind of growth. I'm sure we've had that analogy. We get on the train and the train goes fast and it goes hard and it goes far, but it's in the wrong direction and ends you up in a really bad place. That is not investing for impact. And remember, when you invest, are you investing your best? Are you investing into what's best? Because when you invest, you share ownership. Are you going to be proud to own what you're investing in? And are you investing in a manner that's best? We want a high probability of success. We want to lower the risk, and we want the value to hold, not vanish in a moment, right? Scatter joy, plant your seeds, then we will bring in the best harvest if planted where they are sheltered and supported. Who are you investing with, and who are you investing for? Next week, we're going to move on to water and weight. So, action point for this week. What are your best resources to invest? What are your top priority? Focus, commit with clarity. Get your team together, make sure that they are appropriately assigned and functioning in their strengths. And plant your stuff in time, your energy, your money. Plant it in the right place at the right time, because we are preparing to bring in a rich harvest after we water and wait.